NSFW, what have you found out about someone that you would never tell them you know? I think I have told this story on here before. In elementary school, I saw one of my best friends eating pizza somebody had thrown in a garbage can. I found out a bit later that his dad had lost his job, and his dad, his two sisters, and his mom were living on the streets. But he would have died from shame had I told him that I know. But my mom found out from me, and she bought him and his sisters lunch cards for the year, and breakfast cards. The school lunch lady told them that they won them in a raffle. Edit, thanks for the gold, whoever you are. Glad I could make your day a bit better, hopefully. I found out that my friend got a girl pregnant, told her he'd take her to an abortion clinic, but then never showed and she had to take herself. I learned this from the girl's roommate. I don't think I'll ever tell him I know, but I lost a lot of respect for him. I found a stuffed Lola Bunny doll with a hole and cum stains at a friend's house. Found out more about him than I bargained for. My grandma let it slip that when my mum first had me, mum started looking for places to leave me because she was going to leave my dad. My father steadfastly believes my mother died the day after his birthday. In reality, she died on his birthday. He's blocked this/changed the date to suit his needs, and no one in my family has any intentions of setting that straight. That they were planning to commit suicide a day after my birthday, so I held an extended get-together for that weekend and tried to help make his life better as much as I could without being too obtrusive. Edit, thank you for the gold. My best friend once slept over at my house and he slept on the couch. He's 18. He wet the bed and blamed it on the cat. I knew it was him, but whenever it comes up I blame the cat too so that he doesn't feel embarrassed. My boss is fucking her boss and tries, very poorly, to hide it from me, while saying stuff like, oh, I gotta leave early to pick up my car from boss's house today. Bye. My brother had a bunch of little earrings in a bowl in his room when we were 15-17 respectively. I used to put them in my recently pierced ear to see what other rings would look like. These were small, slightly curved barbells, so they were different than the studs I had in. A few months later I heard through the grapevine that my brother had a dick piercing and thought, yeah, that's about right. I only realized years after the fact I was putting his dick rings in my ears and had been asking him how they looked. He's never brought it up or mentioned it. Helping an elderly friend use her new MacBook Pro so she could look at her son's honeymoon pics that he'd shared with her and the rest of the family. After setting things up on a little projector in the lounge, we all gathered round to watch the slideshow, which was beautiful. They went to Mauritius and South Africa. All was going well until we got to the close-up pictures of them doing anal and the cum shots. Holy wow! The parents are in their late 60s, early 70s, I didn't even think the father had registered what the hell he was seeing, but the mother, super proud upper middle class type, practically died on the spot. The other son swiftly unplugged the projector and we all sat in silence for a moment until the father said, well, at least we know they had a jolly good time. We've never spoken about it again and definitely not told the son and daughter-in-law we know they had anal sex on their honeymoon. The day after we bought a new car, my wife hit the garage door and scraped a plastic mudguard. She freaked out and called the dealership, which was an hour away, then drove there and back to have it replaced before I got home from work. I found out because the new mudguards are sold in a pair and the other mudguard and a receipt were hidden in one of the garage cabinets. I have never told her that I know. When I was 15, my mom asked me to fix her phone because the internet wasn't working. After poking around for a while I figured it out and went to test it. When I opened up Google, her top searches were how to make my husband love me and how to make my husband notice me. My dad has been cheating on her most of my life. I'm 20. When her and I talked about him cheating, she said she was used to it and was just staying with him for my sister and I, and that she no longer really loved him. I believed her up until that point. I never told her I saw that. Edit, wow. I had no idea this would get so much attention. My mom is doing amazing now. Her and I are very close even though I live 9 hours away. She nearly left my dad a couple years ago after I moved out. He then realized how horrible he was to her and he went through therapy and did everything he could to fix it. They are really happy now and more supportive than ever. I found nude pics of one of my friends online. I guess she was modeling on the side. My brother is actually my half-brother. Always wondered why he didn't look like my dad. Edit, to everyone saying he's still my brother. Yes, of course. Never for a second considered him a half-brother. Biologically, yeah, but I would never see him that way, especially considering my dad raised him and is his father legally/emotionally/whatever. My mom had a one-night stand a few months before she met my dad. That's all. My cousin's husband has been having affairs for years. He is a high-powered business person, travels frequently and pretty much has a woman in every port. I know this because I interned at his company for a couple of summers. I didn't disclose we knew each other and only a couple of people in the office knew we had ties outside the office, and everyone seemed to know what was going on. I didn't have the heart to tell my cousin at the time because she was a zam with two young girls, but the reality, I was young, stupid and afraid to tell her. The years passed and it became more and more evident she knew exactly what was going on, but tolerated it because she enjoyed the lifestyle he afforded her too much to give it up. Guess we all make our choices in life. Found out that the parents of one of my good friends from high school are avid swingers and have tried to swing with the parents of most of my friends. Luckily I have no idea if they have been successful, but I'm not gonna tell my friend either way. I'm pretty sure my wife thinks I can't hear that she farts as soon as she gets in the shower. Finally, one I can answer. I found out my cousin is gay years ago. He hasn't told anyone. We come from a very conservative southern family and it isn't my place to tell anyone. I'd have told him, but I found out by looking at his Reddit account and I feel bad enough about betraying his privacy. I'm sure you're probably reading this now because you're fucking addicted to Reddit, but your secret is safe with me, dude. I never told my mom that her contact for my dad was called Sex God back in 2009. One of my best friends, going on 14 years or so, fucks his sister. It was not uncommon for me to stop by and just walk into the house, knowing the family so long. Well, one day I walk in and bam, brother/sister sexual congress going on. On the couch. In the middle of the day. They did not notice me, so I just slipped back out. I don't pop over there anymore. My cousin and I were playing on his dad's laptop when we opened a folder containing a bunch of close-up POV shots of a dude getting a blowjob from some Asian girl. We were in the middle of the living room surrounded by family at the time, so we quickly closed the folder and shut the laptop without saying a word. It wasn't until later that I realized that I had most likely seen my uncle's schlong at a variety of different angles. Found out a friend got fired from a job because he got caught jerking off in the walk-in freezer. Edit, his mom was the manager and she was the one who fired him. I followed one of my old co-workers on Tumblr, I know, several years ago, and forgot about it because she stopped using it. This year she started using it again, but her Tumblr turned into a porn blog for her DDLG relationship with her husband. I would be cruising down my dashboard and suddenly see a video of her in a frilly dress getting reamed in the ass or what have you until I remembered to unfollow her. I found my brother's Reddit account. He tried some stuff sexually that I would rather not know, and definitely would not want him to know that I know. I knew that my husband's former boss was getting fucked by a police officer at work while her husband listened in on the phone. Her husband is the one who usually set it up. My husband and I never told her we knew that. But it taught me that even the most vanilla couples on the outside can be real freaks in the sheets on the inside. Not me, but my friend. I lived in central Missouri during high school and I wasn't out of the closet yet. They're not too friendly to my kind round them parts, I tell you what. Anyway, I was at a play rehearsal and backstage getting ready. I left my phone up front in my seat where everyone would hang out waiting for their part to rehearse. My boyfriend at the time texted me something that would obviously out me. My friend grabs my phone cause it goes off and he thought he'd play a little joke on me and reply something funny in my stead. When he saw what was texted, he just locked my phone and put it back. He never told anyone and kept it to himself until I came out 3 years later. I've had the most profound respect for him since. Maybe not what Op was looking for, but he never told me or anyone about it. Props, brother. That I stole my best friend's keys, shoes, belts, and shaving razors in order to save him from attempting suicide. He was incredibly drunk and in the worst mental state of depression and anger I've ever seen, and he was searching for his keys so he could drive home 4 hours, but while he was on a tangent in a different room I stole his things, shoes because shoelaces. He was searching for those keys for hours in the early AM and I searched with him all night. When I finally got him to bed I returned all his things. He's much better now and has gotten help. That they were named in honor of someone who killed his wife and then himself, leaving several kids behind as orphans. Edit, yes, the parents who did the naming knew full well what he had done. The dad of one of my friends is terminal. She already lost her mom when she was younger and she has a younger sister still in high school. She hasn't told anyone, but I found out because my cousin dates her younger sister. She still seems so happy all of the time. He wasn't supposed to live to see 2018, but he's still around, which is nice, but it still pains me whenever I see her. Frown. Accidentally stumbled across nudes on the internet from a girl I know. Some properly kinky stuff and requests etc. We were never particularly close, but it's still something I'd never say in a million years. My boss's daughter is a stripper and has no clue that I know. My boss doesn't know either. I found out a married woman at work was having an affair with an ex-co-worker. She'd go out for lunch and get laid pretty regularly apparently. I was helping her with an Outlook problem one day where one of her emails wouldn't send and Outlook would crash. She asked me to fix it since it wouldn't open properly anymore and she couldn't get any work done. So I started working on the problem, conveniently right before lunchtime. All I did was remove the account from Outlook, then restarted the client app, re-added the account, and everything was good. The offending email was in her sent items instead of stuck in her outbox, and referred to the guy wanting to come on her tits. She said he could come anywhere he wanted, on her face, on her tits, in her pussy, in her ass, wherever, so long as they got a room this time instead of fucking in the back of a car. I was caught a little off guard with that. And confused when she got knocked up a few weeks later with another coworker's kid. I once stumbled upon my little sister's browsing history. She was around 11 years old at the time. Most of the searches were porn related. Nurse at work was having a problem with her phone. Being a tech guy, she asked me to see if I could look at it. Honestly, have no idea what I did to fix it. But OMFG, I found so much porn. Full videos etc. Recently found out that my grandmother has cancer. I don't want her to know that I know because I want her to just enjoy my company and take her mind off of it. Fuck cancer. That their dad cheated on their mom and they have a half-sister they don't know about. Edit, for people asking how I found out. I went to high school with the girl. Her dad worked with my mom for about 20 years. My mom told me for some reason. The girl very much dislikes me anyway. His brother was the one who posted a picture of him on r/roast. Their Reddit usernames. Wife hates having sex with him, and they haven't done it in almost a year. I found out that my mom starred in some porn at least once and probably worked in prostitution in the past too. Edit, I've been gone all day and just absent-mindedly typed this out on my phone and now I come home to this being my top comment. Wonderful. XD for those asking how I found out pretty much how I might think. I was browsing videos and saw her name in the title and her in the thumbnail. This was several years ago, so I don't remember what site I found it on, but your best bet is probably YouPorn if you wanna try and avoid or research it, since that was the site I used most back then. As for the prostitution part, my sister ended up finding out herself and just told me. I honestly don't remember how she found out, but considering what I found, I believe it. While at my house playing D&D, she abruptly went to the washroom. Later that night, after people went home, I found dried poop on the wall and floor surrounding my toilet. How such a short girl could get feces up that high, I'll never know. It must have been some detonation. But I will never ask her about it or tell anyone else. I stumbled upon my older sister's diary when taking care of her dog. Flipped through out of curiosity and found out that her first boyfriend refused to use a condom when he took her virginity, and she ended up getting pregnant before having an early miscarriage. She's 20, working 2 jobs and going to community college. All this has happened around Thanksgiving. When I saw her at dinner I didn't suspect anything, but she left early due to stomach pain. I can't imagine what she went through, but she's flawlessly acting like nothing happened. Nobody knows but me, and she doesn't know I know, and I plan to keep it that way. TL, doctor, found our sister had an early miscarriage after losing virginity, told no one. I found out that my brother has a brain tumor after accidentally reading a conversation between him and my mum. He doesn't want the rest of us to know, and I want to respect that. Edit, thanks for the support, you lovely people. I've posted this before, but near the end of college I discovered my roommate and his sister had a sexual relationship. I came home for lunch one day, I rarely do this, and saw my teenage son jerking off, naked, on the couch with earbuds in. He didn't see me. I snuck back out and got McDonald's. Found a friend's Reddit profile. Apparently he's a cuck. He likes his wife to have sex with random strangers and have them finish in her, and then he likes to clean her up afterwards, and sometimes the guy. He likes to wear women's lingerie while doing it sometimes too. Big rabbit hole I wish I never went down. While surfing, I think you porn. I found a co-worker's profile. Looks like he was seriously into interracial cuckolding. Never told him, because then he might find my profile, lol. I accidentally stumbled upon nude pics of my brother's girlfriend. Girl I work with did porn. She doesn't know that I know. My assistant manager left his phone open and he had the Tinder rap icon on his main page. He always complained about having trouble with girls, so I opened the app and checked the messages and found out why. It was all him sending girls really dirty messages from the start. No hello, just straight to "you're so fucking hot, I bet your pussy is tight" and shit like that. He had no responses, of course. Edit, holy shit, this blew up. To address all 200 plus people who pointed out it was creepy / messed up to go through his phone, I agree. I never said I was proud of it. Humans are curious, and when you leave your phone unlocked someone is bound to get curious and look. It's not like I opened his app tray and went looking to see if he had a dating app on his phone. It was on the same screen that he left it. He had just been talking recently about how girls are jerks and how he hasn't had any luck. So I thought I'd look to see what the issue was. I know a close relative of mine cheated on their spouse for multiple years with another married person, and contracted herpes from the other person. Then claimed their divorce was a result of money and bad business decisions. That bikini was 100% see-through. I saw my friend's girlfriend's nudes on his phone. Neither know I saw them. One time, while dating my ex, we went to stay with his grandparents and had to stay in separate rooms. While in my room, which was the designated guest room, I was looking for a drawer to set some stuff out in and instead found his grandparents' sex drawer. It was filled with lingerie, toys, and letters explaining what his grandma was going to do for his grandpa. I never told my ex and couldn't look at those two the same ever again. I'm way too late, but I wanted to share this. Especially since I can't ever speak about it in person with anyone. I found out a family friend's wife had an affair for years up until a few months before his son was born. He might not be his biological father. She died of cancer when me and his son were both teens. It devastated him. It came out of nowhere. She was in her 40s. She wasn't feeling too well at the start of spring. They cared for her at home after the chemo had no chance of success through summer, and she died at the start of autumn. I'm friends with the entire family, but most closely with their son. He is my age. I always looked up to the father as well. His mother, the wife, had a box with letters and diaries that she wanted my friend and his sister to burn once she died. They both promised. But he couldn't just let it go. So he asked me to go through it. Among them was an account of her affair with another man, for years. And her doubts about their biological father. I told my friend, he later told his sister. But we all swore never to tell his father. It doesn't matter who the paternal father is, there is only one person he has ever called Dad. My stepmother's divorce with her first husband was due to her having an affair with the neighbor's son. My father loves the hag, so I won't tell her I know unless I know for sure she hasn't changed her ways. I found a letter one day when I was helping clean out our house. It was a letter from my dad to my mom about a very rough patch in their marriage that came close to ending. She thought he had been seeing someone. He was out late all the time with a man who was a known cheater. Smelled of cigarettes and alcohol. One time had lipstick on his collar. Through my dad's own admission to her, in the letter, the man had accidentally revealed to my dad he was going to screw the company my dad worked at and was gonna go solo. My dad, knowing this would put him out of a job, blackmailed this man into helping him do it too. He wasn't cheating. He was actually planning to quit his job, steal some of his boss's clients, and start his own company. And did not want her worrying about the insanity of that choice. The lipstick was from a stripper. Apparently men who are blackmailed still choose the meeting place. But there was no choice. It was either jump ship or accept competition from the man who had taught my dad everything. It totally paid off. That decision put them up 2 tax brackets. They opened 10 or more businesses together and actually have several hundred employees. Edit, wow. Thanks for responses. To note, the company was private and barely 30 people in total. They were obsessed with domestic business when they needed to transition to international. If he didn't do what he did, the company had 5 years about until it would be outcompeted by larger entities. And not many people in the US are in this business anymore. Also, when you have a family and your mentor is going to end up your rival, you make drastic choices. It's either join them or go back home to your podunk small town where people judge you on what kind of pie you make. He left that town and went into debt in college for a reason. I was staying in a hotel with 2 other guys during our highest hook state tennis tournament. I really wasn't a fan of either guy, they were both kind of jerks, but we were teammates so it wasn't like we clawed at each other. Anyways, one of the guys went to take a shower, and while he was gone, the other saw a prescription bottle laying at the guy's suitcase and started asking what it was. He started reading it and I quickly realized that it was an antidepressant. So, despite really actually hating the guy it belonged to, I lied to him, told him it was allergy medicine and that he was a douche for snooping around in the guy's stuff. I may not like the guy, but that's a very personal thing, and I know for a fact that I wouldn't want people knowing about it. Other teammates came out of the bathroom, and it was never mentioned to him. I saw toilet paper stuck to my girlfriend's ass while we were having sex. That my friend's girlfriend is only together with him because my friend's best friend rejected her. When I inherited my younger brother's old phone, he clearly hadn't wiped it properly because I discovered pages upon pages of handwritten erotica about his friends from school and lists of which ones he wanted to bang most. I genuinely felt like boiling my eyes after seeing it. I'm holding off on telling him I know because this is some weapons grade dirt for next time he wants to be a little shit. My friend told me she had a threesome with my sister and my sister's boyfriend at the time, now husband. Figured that's one better left not brought up at family get-togethers. Found my brother's suicide note. This made I in the comments but not having an identity here and I need to get this off my chest. When my brother moved out he gave me his computer. Well, I went through it, made sure that nothing on there was of importance that he might need before I wipe it clean. Halfway through found a Word file buried deep in some folders. File was titles because of you. My brother was a romantic type of dude. So, here I am, innocent 15-year-old thinking it is some kind of poem. I open it up only to be struck right in the feels. It was my brother's suicide note. He is the nicest, most cheerful people person you can ever meet. It was hard to even think he got so low. I don't dare tell anyone and try to pretend it doesn't exist, but it is seriously the hardest thing to swallow. My brother is still around, married and has kids. I know why he was close to suicide and I am thankful he never pulled through with it. I love you, brother. Edit, I posted this on my way home from work just to get it off my chest, as I've told no one before. I didn't expect it to blow up. Thank you everyone for the kind words, and even those who had nothing kind to say, I still value your comment. Much love to Reddit. Someone mentioned that I should talk to my brother about this while we are alone. Trust me, I have thought about it, but it seems selfish of me. His life is going better than ever, and to slam his dark past onto him now is not something I want to do. I will carry his secret with me to the grave. Although, if you know anyone going through a tough time or thinking of self-harm, ask them. They won't be mad, and even if they are, they know someone cares about them. Never make fun of suicide. Fuck you, Paul Logan, as it is not a choice that comes easy. To the guy who said I was snooping around, yes, I was. I was snooping for a good reason. Anyone in their right mind should go through something that is given to them and see if there is anything left that the owner still might want. Anyway, please step forward to help anyone close to suicide. It is preventable and someone doesn't have to lose someone close to them. 1-800-273-8255 is the phone number to the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. I dropped my iPhone about 2 years ago and cracked the screen. My very religious, overly preachy about morals Bill with 4+ kids offered to lend me his old one until I get the screen fixed. Awesome for me. When I swapped the SIM that night, it was still logged into his iMessage and began downloading his entire chat history. Though fuck, I don't want or need to have his whole world on the phone. I was about to go and sign out of iMessage when I saw texts from different women I hadn't heard of with thumbnails of photos. Well, I opened out of curiosity, yeah, no excuses, and found pretty damning shit. The sexting is a big whatever to me, but the videos of his jerking off to his office bathroom mirror, full face, while yelling the name of the contact, the similar ones from his basement while his family is asleep, eating semen, etc., and the pretty tame shit from women like pics of tattoos and requests for more dollar made me pretty upset. Now he and my Sil are having massive issues, and he is saying he wants to leave. She is a bad mom and he will sue for the kids. Emo, she's a great mom, kids love her and she deserves the kids. He has the money and background to make her life miserable. I hope they work it out. Because I saved everything. We're close with our older neighbors. They never had kids, so they kinda adopted me and my husband. She admitted to us that she had 3 miscarriages and just couldn't handle the loss anymore. Except that her husband doesn't know. And she never plans to tell him. As far as they're concerned, he thinks they were just simply infertile. Last year at work, someone left their phone in a conference room that I had just inhabited for a meeting. I ran around asking anyone if it was theirs, but nobody was claiming it. So I figured whoever was in the meeting before me probably had said meeting in their calendar. I went into the calendar and instead of finding the meeting, I found sex meetings. Whoever owned the phone had sex scheduled with their wife twice a week. Along with the meetings were notes in which the man was journaling about their prayers to God and how to salvage their marriage, praying that he could physically pleasure his wife in order to improve their marriage, etc. Things like, "Dear God, I just want to make her happy. How can I be a better husband? How can I make her love me?" When the phone's owner eventually surfaced, it ended up being the sweetest guy who worked on the design team and you'd never know was having those types of issues. Needless to say, it made me so sad for him. My dog snores and farts in her sleep. I'll never tell her. Found my stepmother's amateur porn pictures when I was about 11 years old. Traumatic indeed. Edit, age. I occasionally volunteer at this after-school program for teens from abusive situations. One dude, who I discovered had been raped by his dad for years, comes in and is an expert artist. But he shrugs it off. Puts on this hard exterior. Never smiles. Has this deadpan look. But one day, When I was showing him a bunch of artists I love, I showed him the paintings of Alice Neal, and I discovered that he has dimples. I found out my best friend's husband is a convicted pedophile when I was cleaning their house while she was giving birth to their fourth child. I found the graduation certificate from a sexual predator class he took along with some other paperwork that gave details about the event. I've only ever told my mom, and only because I needed advice on how to handle it. In the end I was a coward and just distanced myself from the family. A friend of mine told me that a mutual friend lost a testicle. That's an awkward conversation I don't want to have. I work customer service. One of my swinger co-workers randomly decided to fuck with me and showed me a dick pic. She asked if I knew who that was, and told me it was one of my regular customers. Whenever I see him, the back of my mind is a constant swarm of unsureness and worry. The answer for cancer. While moving our friends to their new home, their father had just passed away after a long battle with cancer and they were downsizing. My friends and I were lifting a huge wooden crate with the Jack Daniels logo on it, just a fun fact, not important, and we wanted to know where to put it. When we opened it, we found it was filled with their homemade porn videos, most of which were filmed while he was going downhill from chemo. Our best guess was that it was an enjoyable time for him going out with a bang, and they were filmed for her after he died. We all three agreed never to talk about it with each other again and not mention it to our friends, the kids of this couple. Sad, disturbing, adorable, effed up, and inspiring all at the same time. TL, Doctor found our friend's parents' secret homemade porn stash, much of which was filmed while Dad was dying of cancer. About 15 years ago a friend of mine gave me his computer after he upgraded. He thought he wiped the HD. He did not. He had an extensive porn library downloaded that gave some real insights into his tastes, lots of interracial, BBW, redhead stuff, lots of gangbangs, and a ton of BBC worship. Every girl he's introduced to the friend group is a slightly plump white girl. He is black, usually with red hair, or they dye it soon after. That his wife was raped when she was a child. And the fact that she doesn't want children is not because she wants to live life and whatnot, but because of the trauma and the injury she sustained during her prolonged abuse that caused her unable to carry any child without sustaining huge risk in her well-being. I found the porn profile of someone that works in a bar I regularly visit. Apparently he has a huge collection of dildos which he puts in his ass. Never told him, but still feels weird every time I see him. I got a dog for my family many years ago. When I brought it home, my GF at the time told me to be very careful when walking it outside. When I asked why, she told me that when she was younger, her puppy accidentally ate a small piece of glass. This piece of glass shredded the dog's insides and it died. After the relationship ended, I was talking to my mom about her and this story came up. Then my mom told me that her and my ex's mom went for a coffee once and told her that the story was fake. She was too lazy to take care of a dog, so she gave it away and told her daughter that it died. I've always wanted to tell her this, but I decided to just let her live with this lie. TL, Doctor, ex's mom lied to her about her puppy dying. She was just too lazy to take care of a dog. I once caught my 6FD5 linebacker roommate bent over the toilet vomiting. Over his pants, a pink, flower-patterned thong was peeking out. That her BF is going to propose. I found out that a friend of mine has been misled about her real parents. I found out that the person she believes to be her sister is actually her mother, and that the person she believed to be her mother is her grandmother. I further learned that her real father was a serial child molesting uncle who is in prison. I learned it all completely by chance after sitting in front of her real mother in a movie theater. The movie was The Fifth Element, which I remember because it was National Cinema Day 1997 and I saw that movie 4 times that day. Afterwards I quizzed my aunt about it for confirmation. My aunt lived right across the street from them, and confirmed she also knew the secret, and swore me to secrecy. I stumbled upon what was to be my best friend's suicide note. Completely upended my life to support him, and everything is better for him now. Will never know if anything I did made a difference, and don't really care, just glad my friend is good, and I don't plan to ever tell him why I made the choices I made. Edit, thank you for my first gold awesome stranger. I share a 2-bedroom apartment and my roommate has the fuse fox in his closet, so one day maintenance needed to come over to fix something. I think the washer had stopped working, and they had to check the fuses. My roommate was out of town, so I had to let them in, and as I opened the closet it suddenly became clear to me that my roommate thoroughly enjoys many varieties of male sex toys, pocket pussy, full-on sculpture of somebody. Anyway, I don't care or mind, but the maintenance guy was right behind me, and I had a split second to shove everything I could out of the way as quickly as possible and cover the stuff with clothes or whatever else was in the closet to make sure the maintenance guy didn't see it. They eat their husband's ass.